This is the Eskute Star. This model here, as you can see, is a fat-wheeled e-bike. So it's got those 4-inch wide tires. They're from CST, and they do soak up a lot of the bumps. And we've got a battery pack that's located here in the frame. Now, it's really large. This is 20 amp hours. It will give us a range of up to 130 kilometers, which is about 80 miles. Now, it's a 36-volt system, and it is using Samsung cells. The bike comes with 2 sets of keys, so it is locked into place, and it's very easy to remove it. So you simply just put the key in there, give it a turn, the battery pops up, and you can lift it out of the frame then. Now, the charge time of this 25 amp hour battery is around 5 to 6 hours. So you can charge it either in the bike or take it out and charge it in the office or in your house. Now, the shock here is from a company called Easing. It's their Forgo model, and we do have 50 millimeters of travel. It can be locked out, and there is adjustable preload too with this shock. The Star does come with some hard-wired lights. So our front headlight here has a powerful LED within it, and it's sufficient enough to light up the road ahead of you, the path ahead of you, so you can safely ride at night. And the rear tail light, this is just a single stage, so when you brake, there is no secondary light. It's more powerful. It's got a reflector within it, and it's bright enough. So you can see here at the top, we do have a bike rack, which comes fitted to the bike. Along with our bike rack, we also do have plastic mud guards. Now, these mud guards and the whole bike in general does not rattle, which is great. That gets a big thumbs up from me. I'm someone that absolutely hates. I cannot stand bikes that rattle away, and this bike does not, thankfully. So looking at our drivetrain here, we've got a painted silver chain here from KMC. So that, yes, is another known brand of chains. The derailleur here, this is turny. So we've got a Shimano setup. It is 7 gears. And the rear hub motor, well, it depends on the version you get. With this EU version here, this is 250 watts, and it does run off a 36-volt system. Maximum torque is 45 Newton meters. Now, with the other version, it's 500 watts, and it can peak at 750 watts, so very powerful. Our seat here does have quite a bit of padding to it. It's very comfortable. It's nice and wide, covered with a synthetic leather, pretty standard there. Now, for rider heights, you're looking at 155 centimeters. It does use the seat post a quick release, then catering up to right up to 190 centimeter rider heights. And I like this color here. It's different, this light green. The paint finish is excellent. There's no flaws with it. And we have some really good looking welds and a very strong frame here because, of course, there's a lot of tension and pressure on this area right here. But I've felt zero flex, there's no play, there's no movement in it. And the latch mechanism is very strong. It gives me a lot of confidence. I don't feel unsafe at all when I'm riding the Star here. The handlebar can also fold down. Now, it feels, again, very strong. There's no play, no movement in the handlebar at all. And this hinge, the latch mechanism is strong, of high quality, and it gives me confidence when I ride it that nothing's going to happen. Handlebar height is adjustable, and it can be raised right up quite high. And we can also adjust the handlebar itself too with another quick release there. You do have lock grips. They have no movement in them whatsoever. Nice rubber grips too. Comfortable little palm support here. And then our selector, the shifter here from Shimano, standard. So this is to go down the gears and then up the gears. I've had no issues with it. The brakes, the brake levers do feel very good, being a full hydraulic system. For brakes, Eskute did select some hydraulic disc brakes here. They are 160 millimeters, and the brand of them I don't really know. They're not familiar to me, at least. They're X1 brand, or they do state somewhere MT800, but that doesn't really matter. They work quite well. The pads have plenty of bite, and you'll see later on in my braking test that it performs excellent and really good stopping power. On the left side, we've got our little controller here. So this is up and down the pedal assist levels. Now, if you keep holding down, this puts it into the walk mode. So it will just slowly move ahead. And that helps you when you need to push the bike because it is so heavy, about 33 kilos. Power on button right here. We've got a button for the hardwired lights. And then this up here is a mode button to cycle through the trip computer information on the screen. Now the screen, it's reasonably clear, but I do wish in daylight it was a little brighter. So yes, it looks about this level when you do see it. So we've got at the top our battery gauge, our speed, pedal assist levels, trip, odometer, your average and max speeds that you can also see there. So if it was a little brighter, I wouldn't be criticizing anything about the screen. I do love the size of it. It's also backlit, so you'll see it at nighttime when you're riding. Now, it is a foldable bike, so let's see if I can fit this Eskute Star into a large estate here. So the handlebars, you've got the little security, you need to pull up on that, you push down the lever. It's a little tight, but I like it that way. So at least it doesn't feel loose when you're riding along. So that drops then the handlebar down to one side, gets it out of the way. The seat, quick release on that, you can drop it down, and then we have the release right here in the frame to fold it in half. So that is again a little lever, a little security on that. You need to push forward and then you unlatch that. Once you do that, it then will allow me to flip the bike around here. Okay, so I can flip it around like so, but it does weigh 33 kilos. So I'll see if I can get this inside my car. Okay, so I got it in there. There is a little bit of room still, but bear in mind that I do have a large car here, large estate. So if you have a car with a smaller boot or trunk, then you may not be able to do this. I think most cars you would not be able to fit it in without having to fold down your seats. The good thing about this though, that it does fold down the handlebar and the bike in half, is that you're able to store it away into smaller spaces. And what's it like to ride then the Eskute Star? Well, it's quite a comfortable bike because the handlebar height is very high. I've got it actually in the lower position right here, and I find that's fine for me for my height of 182 centimeters. And the seat post, you can put that up reasonably high too as well. So it's a very spacious frame and very comfortable, the riding position, because you are upright. You don't really get a sore back at all. You get a little bit better visibility because you're looking up. And here I am in the second gear right now, pedal assist level 5. Of course, it's got the 5 different levels, or you can turn it off completely. And with a little climb like this, not a problem for the bike. This is about 15 degrees or so. And those 4-inch wide tires, of course, soaking up a lot of those small little bumps. So it's a super comfortable riding position. So no problems with these shifts. Shimano Tourney 7 speed, I've seen a lot of this. But the good thing about it is at least it is a known brand. They haven't just gone with an unknown component there. Shimano's well known and proven too to be pretty reliable. So the shifts are good. They're spot on. No problems with them. So the bike will get me up to 25 kilometers per hour, then the motor cuts out. That's standard here. That is the EU legal limit for e-bikes. Their assistance, that is, will get you up to 25. Now, in the 7th gear right now, if I pedal a lot, I can get up to a top speed of about 31, 32 kilometers per hour, possibly a little more on the flat, and just rolling downhill now, riding as fast as I can, then up to about 37 kilometers per hour with the 20-inch rims isn't too bad at all. Now the handlebar has no play, no movement in it at all. It feels very solid. The frame also feels really solid, and that gives me a lot of confidence with this bike to go at such speeds of around 38 now kilometers per hour. So here I am at the climb test spot. So about a 20-degree climb here, the gradient, and I do have the bike set into pedal assist level 5. And I'm going to put it in the 1st gear here and see how it does handle this. Now I've got the EU version, so it's 250 watts. It runs off a 36 volt system, and I do have the large 25 amp hour battery with the Samsung cells. And you know what, it's doing this climb with absolute ease. No problem. I can probably even go up a gear. Yes, I can. So into the 2nd gear now. The more I pedal here, the more it seems to give me. So that is working well. And overall, not too bad. Now, it's not like some of the versions, or for example, the version of this that has the 500 and 750 watt peak motor and 48 volt system. That would just rocket up this. But still, for 250 watts, this is not bad at all. Then my braking test, so 160 millimeter disc brakes from about 30 kilometers per hour, emergency stop from the white post here. So I'm doing 30, 1, 2, 3. Whoop, very easy to lock up the rear, but look, it made it before this post right here, so that is good. Impressive braking performance. The levers feel really good, and I do love the fact that they went with hydraulic. Even though it's not a known brand of hydraulic brakes, they do seem to work really well. And what about a little bit of the rough stuff? So this paving right here is all over the place. It's up and down. You can see as my handlebars shake around. So the front shock does have 15 millimeters of travel, and the tires, of course, being 4 inches wide, quite spongy. I'm running around 13 psi. They are soaking up a lot of this too as well. So the front shock, definitely better than having no shock. And the seat, the padding in the seat is really good. So even though it looks like I'm shaking all over the place, I am a little, it's not too bad. It's reasonably comfortable. Okay, so most importantly, the range. What kind of range can we get out of that huge Samsung cell battery here? So 25 amp hours, a 36 volt system with this EU model does allow me to get some phenomenal figures, because every battery bar I lose, I cover around about 18 to 19 kilometers. So I can see this being able to achieve, yes, 90 to even 100 kilometers out of a 20-inch size rim bike. That's really good. That's fantastic, but mainly because we've got such a large battery, and it is the 36 volt system and not 48, which is more powerful, of course, but it's going to have more of a toll and suck up and use more energy from that battery. So there's a lot about this bike that I absolutely love that checks out. The mechanism here, the latch for both the fold and the handlebar, super secure, nothing moves, there's no rattling. The frame is really solid looking. Yes, it's added to the weight, but you can see that they've reinforced areas around here. The welds look really good, the paint job is really good, and okay, it's, yeah, 33 kilos. It's very heavy, so if you're going to be folding it up, it's probably just for that odd time that you need to transport it. It's not something I'd want to be doing daily, not with 33 kilos. You'll get fit lifting this thing up, especially if you have to go up a flight of stairs and you fold it up, or even if you don't. It's a heavy bike, so that's the downside to it. The other for me is the screen. This is a very minor thing, nitpicking here really, is it's a little dull in direct sunlight. Sure, I can still read it, but I just wish it was a bit brighter there so I could see it a little clearer. Now the braking performance, they're a brand that I don't really recognize, MT or XD, I think is a brand, MT800 or something. It is just off the top of my head. Performs well. Good bite with those brake pads on the disc there, 160 millimeter. The front shock from easing, the Forgo model does work well, and we've got 50 millimeters of travel, and I think it's sufficient enough. You can lock it out too if you want, and it seems a reasonably good quality, not bad. The plastic mudguards are okay, the lights are good, nothing rattles, the frame finish, everything, and we even get a bike rack too included with it. Seats very comfortable, everything just seems to check out with this bike, apart from the weight, of course, and the screen. That is it. So well done, Eskute. I think this is their best and highest quality model yet from them out of all the other models that I have reviewed and covered in the channel. So thank you so much for watching this review.